Yeah, life.
A tool used for removing एक चीज में डाल दो
Preeti, I think you need to unmute Nidhi. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, Nidhi, we can start. I'm letting all the people in.
Yours implementation happens in a prolific manner. Vidya has conducted orientation sessions for students, teachers, and parents on varied topics like effective time management, teacher's role today, being a parent friend to my child, English communication, why is it so important, etc. Her expertise as a headmistress, academic coordinator from Sri Venkateshwara Vidyalaya includes has actually enhanced her passion towards working with children of all ages. She has an MA in English Literature and B.Ed in English and Social Sciences. She's settled in Thrissur, Kerala. We welcome you, ma'am. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you so much. Good evening, one and all. It's wonderful to meet all of you in this Corona times through Zoom and also through YouTube. Thank you so much for being part of this session today. And before I start off my session, I'd like to know from all of you as to why do you think phonics is so important today? We could give the answers right after this little video that I'm going to show you. And let's enjoy that.
O-U-G-H is pronounced different ways.
So did we enjoy that video? So what did we get out of that video actually? What could we actually get out of that video? Any answers?
Not yet. We understood that English is a difficult language. So Seher ma'am says that.
Okay.
Megha ma'am is saying, ma'am can't hear you.
Am I not audible?
No, you are. Okay. So yeah, so another teacher is saying wrong pronunciation of words. Words need proper pronunciation, otherwise they may land in a mess. That language is a language, that English is a language that is based on sounds, how to pronounce in a proper way.
Okay.
Okay, and some of them are saying we couldn't hear the video. So tricky words.
Video was not audible, or
maybe they joined late, I guess.
Okay, probably. So thank you for those answers, and I take all those answers. But yes, like ma'am said, one of the teachers over there, a couple of teachers over there said, the pronunciation and the usage and how we say it, how we sound it, plays a huge role when we actually use English. Like what we just heard, even though all those were words with O-U-G-H, but the phonics of that was totally different. So why do we need phonics actually? This is something which is going to add to the knowledge of the alphabetic code. I will share what the alphabetic code I mean is. And of course, this is also meant for us to actually ensure we break the word into smaller chunks, which will enable the child to actually grasp that same pronunciation exactly as it has to be said. And of course, when children come to us, we have a lot of usage of English because any subject that we take, be it mathematics, be it science, be it social studies, everything is based on English. So without having the correct spellings, without knowing the correct spellings, for a child to be able to perform well in their subjects is going to be difficult. And English forms the base for any other subject. So it is part of their writing skill. This will enhance their writing skills and ensure that they have the fundamental writing skills correct because of the phonic sounds. And yes, why are we teaching this? Because that's how children will actually start listening to us carefully so that every word that we utter, every letter that we say, how is it pronounced, which part of the mouth, and how do we use the mouth to actually articulate the word is also understood by the child. And every child has confusable words, right? There are sounds which confuse them. Like, for example, if I say hair, can you tell me, could you help me with the various pronunciations that we have for hair, the spellings that we have for hair?
So Asa says hair and hair. H-A-I-R and H-A-R-E.
Wonderful, wonderful. So which hair did I mean? So it's quite confusing because we have the same sound but different spellings. So this is where the phonics plays a huge role. So when they start sounding the words clearly, when they start pronouncing clearly, that is when they will be able to differentiate between the words that we are going to be using. And this, as I said earlier, for ASL, this is the foundation where they will learn for their assessment of speaking and learning, and they will be able to perform beautifully, right? And they don't have to memorize words right from LKG. If you look at the formations that we give, when we give them with phonics right from kindergarten level, they will be able to actually grasp it with the help of the phonics by breaking it into smaller chunks. Like, for example, the word bat could be broken down as b, a, t. So, which means for a child right from kindergarten, when they understand this kind of a pronunciation breakup, they are very clear on what they are expected to spell out. So even for spellings, breaking spellings, this is how the child can actually learn. And yes, it also helps in the reading habit of the child because they will start finding words which they are familiar with in any magazine or any newspaper or even in their textbooks. They will start going through whatever is there and adds to their vocabulary without saying because they're going to be learning more of those words. Why do we emphasize so much on phonics? Because when it comes to reading comprehension, when the child has to break down the reading comprehension, understand the question that is asked, and then write the answers accordingly, they have to actually know the spellings where they have to add words which they're not familiar with. So this is how a child can actually get a better reading comprehension by breaking this into little bits. So breaking the words into little bits. So the pronunciation of words, yes, it's very, very essential when it comes to speaking. I usually give an example of the word Lorry. How do we say that? What is that pronounced as? Could somebody raise your hand and give me the pronunciation through Zoom? Lorry. How is it pronounced? How do we pronounce that word? It's a very simple word. It's a very, very simple word in English, which is Lorry. How do we pronounce it?
So Seher ma'am wants to actually speak. Preeti, can we put ma'am on unmute, please? Seher ma'am. Okay. I think we can go.
Yes, ma'am.
You repeat the name of the participants.
Seher ma'am has to be unmuted.
It's Lorry.
Lorry, correct. That is the correct pronunciation. But what happens when you hear the word in Tamil Nadu or you hear the same word in Kerala?
There's a more emphasis on Lorry. It goes like Lowry, something like that.
Correct. So when it comes
ma'am, there is just a minute, please, because we have participants even on YouTube. They're answering. Ranjita ma'am says just like sorry.
Correct. It's just like sorry. Exactly. That's the pronunciation that we should be using. But unfortunately, because of the local regional influence, the mother tongue influence, what happens is the lorry, when it goes to Tamil Nadu, becomes a lari. And when it comes to Kerala, it becomes a lorry. So because of these mother tongue influences, what happens is the correct pronunciation is not got by the child. So helping the children learn the correct pronunciation of words is very essential. They will be able to break the words using phonics and write the spellings. So getting their writing skills developed is also an integral part of phonics, right? So let's get a little familiar with what phonics is all about. I've broken it down as phoneme, phonology, and phonics. Okay, so I'm going to be dealing with phoneme, phonology, phonics. I'm going to speak about why it is important, phonics, and I'm going to give you a differentiation between the vowels, the consonants, and the digraphs. And I will be talking a little bit about the methodology that we could use when we're teaching phonics, and also about the tricky words. So I'm starting with the phoneme and the phonemic awareness for the simple reason that this is how it is found in the dictionary. So if you look for a spelling in the dictionary, we will have the actual spelling of the word, and in two lines between two parentheses, two slash lines, so we will have something in this kind of, these are like art work for us. So these have specific pronunciations. So these are the phoneme and phonemic representations of all the letters that we have. And the ones that you see in the yellow are all our vowels. The ones that you see in the orange that I'm showing right now on the right side are all the diphthongs. And this entire set that we have are our consonants. But trust me, nobody will understand that this is a ch and this is a j. So the ones that we see here are the transcription, phonemic transcription of the letters, right, of the words. So if you look at, again, if you look within the vowels, we have two different colors where we have the long sounds and we have the short sounds, which means we have a long vowel and a short vowel. So we're aware of how this comes up, right? We know that we have the long vowel sounds and the short vowel sounds when we handle the English classes. So when this short vowel sound and long vowel sound is not clear to the child, is when they get confused with the words. So when they get confused, the spellings go wrong. And when they go wrong in the spellings, the entire meaning of the word changes and the entire meaning of the sentence, because of the wrong spelling, is completely lost. So which is why the phonic pronunciations play a huge role. So we have a few voiced consonants and few unvoiced consonants. So which means if you look at the English language, we have 26 letters, but we have 44 sounds. If you count these which are here, we have 44 sounds. So no wonder we say that English is a funny and a punny language, don't we? Do you all agree? Yes, right? So if you look at this, any layman would say this is SIP, which is sip, but I've actually written the phonemic transcription of the word ship. So this is how we can teach phonemic transcription to higher class children using these charts. So these charts that we have are actually to help the child start referring to the dictionary, which is supposed to be the most beautiful teaching aid for English. Any doubt, any concerns about English that we have, the dictionary is the go-to for us. And this is how it will be transcripted in English in the dictionary. So if you look at all these words, this is ship, which is a short sound, and this is sheep, which is a long sound, and this is bush, and this is boot. So which means when there are these differentiations that we need to speak about, even in the word banana, if you look at it, it's banana. So what do we say? We say banana, right? So the pronunciation of these words play a huge role in the way the child listens to it. So when I say horse, I need to definitely have the sound coming in, but it's not a r sound that comes out. So it's a silenced r. So which means this transcription here means it is horse. It's not horse, it is horse. And the same way, the A here is sounded as a, which is the funny little sign that we have here. So it is man. And this is bread, but we have a E and a, but the A gets silent and the E sound is coming in. So which is like a. So we have a bread. And the same with a clock, and same with girl, we have car. We don't say car. There is no R here. If you notice, we don't have an R at the end. It is a silent R. So it comes as car. So this is cup and this is car. So the various places where we have given these transcriptions, if you notice, it is very, very subtle. The sounds and the way we pronounce, it's very subtle. Even a slight change can change the meaning of the word. The pronunciation and the spelling will change for the child, right? So phonics is nothing but a blend of the graphemes and the phonemes. So what do I mean by graphemes? Graphemes is nothing but the letters, and phonemes is nothing but the sounds of these letters, right? So I'm going to make it very simple. We have consonants, we have vowels, we have digraphs, right? So what happens when we use the consonants? When we use the consonants, there is a sound that we make either partially or completely by the closure of the air that we use from the lungs. So if you could try saying fur, it's not fur, we say, so which means I'm biting my lower lip when I'm blowing a puff of air. So there is a puff of air that comes out when I say the letter F. It's F, which is sounded as, and when I say purr, it is a plosive. So there is a little bit of an air that pops out of my mouth when I'm saying that particular letter. So every letter that I've put over here has a particular sound that comes out, either with the air partially coming out, or it's completely coming out, or blocked. The same as with the vowels, but it is stopped because it is supposed to be a vowel sound where we have to have an open mouth. Okay, so there is this, without the stopping of the air directly from the lungs, we have a complete open mouth when I say a, e, o, oo, right? So if you see my mouth, the way I articulated, there was no stopping of the air that is coming freely from my lungs. So this is how the vowels have to be sounded. So when we talk about phonics, when we talk about how we sound these letters, how we sound the phonemes, there is a little question that I'm always asked. Ma'am, don't you think when we are in front of the children, when we do all this, would they be able to grasp it? Simple question to all of us is, how did our children, or how did we learn our mother tongue? How did we learn our mother tongue? Did we have actually, our parents coming and telling us you should say amma, that is amma. So you look at me, every time you look at me, you should say amma. Did we do that?
So Aarti ma'am says by listening.
Exactly, beautifully put.
Anandita ma'am also says by listening.
Excellent. So we listened to what our elders were saying. We tried to imitate that. Regardless of what it was, we didn't know. They would point a crow and they would say that that's a crow. That was when we had a image to the word crow. The same way when we saw our mothers, when everybody started addressing Amma, we started calling Amma. So when we were told that Amma, we repeated the word Amma. So when we go to school, the same way when we are in school, when we are with the children, the first and foremost is not to have an inhibition to use our complete body, because our body is the best teaching aid, especially when teaching English. For English language, definitely the mouth, the facial expressions, the body language all plays a huge role. So going forward with this, yes,
there are a few answers, ma'am. So on YouTube, Neelu ma'am says by imitating. So many of them are saying by imitating, and Anagha ma'am says by observing.
Wonderful. So we observe, we listen, and then we imitate. So that is the way it goes. So they listen to a lot of it. So only when they start listening right from the younger age to a lot of English being spoken, they will understand that. And trust me, for India, we are lucky that we don't have an American accent, we don't have a UK accent, or we don't have an Australian accent, but we are lucky enough that we decided to have a neutral accent, which means an Indian who is in America can handle the English that is spoken in America. An Indian who goes to China can handle the English that the Chinese speak. An Indian who goes to Japan can handle the language that is spoken there, the English that is spoken there. If they go to Australia, they can handle the English that is spoken in Australia without any difficulty, because ours is a neutral accent that we have adopted in India across any school, right? Okay, so let me just go forward. And this is something that I felt I should put on this presentation, which will actually help teachers who are so interested in phonics. This is something called as Jolly Phonics, and Jolly Phonics is something which gives us a lot of the simple phonic usage of every letter, every alphabet, every vowel, every consonant, right? The same is also available with Collins Fun with Phonics and Spelling. So I have just taken one example. All right. So when I come to the enunciation of this, I would require phoneme to be the smallest. I would say that phoneme is the smallest unit that we would have in a word. So if I break the word bat, the smallest phoneme that I would have is the b, a, and t. So we have three there. So which means the smallest part of the word is the phoneme. But this is a representation. The grapheme is a sequence, or it represents the phoneme as a letter, a group of letters, right? So that is the grapheme, which is the bat. So if I say b-at, that means it is a grapheme. B is the phoneme and at is the grapheme, right? So a few of the key principles that I feel are essential when we handle phonics is to ensure that they are represented, the phonemes and the sounds that we use are represented by the letters and not represented by the parentheses that we have, the transcription that we have, because that will make it a little more confusing for the child initially in the lower grades. But when they go to the higher grades, yes, we can represent them with the transcription. They will understand it beautifully, right? And as a matter of fact, a phoneme can be a combination of, like I mentioned earlier, it can be two or more letters. So these are the examples that I've just added over there. Sh is two letters, but the single sound that you hear is the sh. We don't hear sah, we hear it as sh. And the same way when we have that, it is T-H-A-T. So the TH is da. It's not ta, it is da. So T and H put together gives us a da. So it's a single sound. So whenever there's a phoneme, there will be a single sound that comes out, right? And of course, we can pronounce the same phoneme in multiple ways. I've given an example there. Rain has a spelling of AI, where the A comes in as AI. When it's May, it's just a AY. And when it's a lake, the E is silent, but the A takes the A sound. So it's a lake, right? So it's the same phoneme. It's the exact same phoneme, but we have three different ways in which it can be used. And of course, the last one that I have said, the spelling that we have can be more than one. So in mean, it is M-E-A-N, so it is mean. But when it came to deaf, it is D-E-A-F, but the A is silent. So it became a de. Okay, the A sound is more prominent. So this is how we have the principle. And when pronouncing phonemes, we have the continuous phonemes, we have the unvoiced phonemes, and the voiced phonemes. Why do we have this differentiation as continuous, unvoiced, and voiced? Any particular reason? Do you feel there should be a particular reason why we have it like that? Why we have this kind of a breakup? Any particular reason?
Just waiting for answers.
Yes, please.
On both the platforms. So no answers as of now.
Okay. Do we have any answers?
Because of silent letters, Seher ma'am says that. Because of silent letters.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Then?
Nirmala ma'am also says that. Nirmala ma'am says that I've been using Jolly Phonics in my school.
Okay.
And
why do we have the continuous phonemes and we have the unvoiced phonemes and we have the voiced phonemes? Why do we have all these breakups then? Why do we have that?
So she has written earlier, by teaching 5 sounds, you can teach 42 words. That's what she's written earlier. And Avanti ma'am says differentiating among words.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. The purpose of breaking it is to understand how it is being used in a word and where it has to be voiced, where it has to be continuous, where it has to be unvoiced. Like, for example, the E that I said earlier in deaf, we had the A which was silent, but the A is A. And when I say lake, when I said the earlier phoneme L-A-K-E, the E was silent. Do you agree the E was silent, but the A took the A sound? Do you agree? Do you agree or disagree? Yes, you agree? So there it became an unvoiced E. That's an unvoiced E. We have so many letters so many words where the E is unvoiced. And there are so many places where the B is unvoiced. Like, for example, C-O-M-B. The B is not voiced. The B is generally not voiced. How do we say that? How do we say that word? It's a comb. It's just a comb. So the B is silent, right? So these are the reasons why we have differentiations in the pronunciation of the phonemes, right? Okay, I have divided this entire thing into 3 phases. This is like how I would like to break it up. Okay, so the environmental sounds that I'm talking about is not just how we articulate it. It's all about the influence that we have about of our regional languages. So when there is a regional language influence that comes in, the way we speak, the way we pronounce a word actually changes. Like I gave you an example of the lorry earlier. So the environmental sounds that I imply here is how the regional language takes an upper hand when we start talking about English. So if you see, when we have smaller children that come to class, we generally use a bilingual approach to make them comfortable in the classes. So when they come in the lower grades, like in the kindergarten level and in the first and second, because we feel we want them to understand what is being told to them, we use a bilingual approach. So they are neither with the regional language nor with English. So they are a mix of both. So for the child's brain, this is like a confusion that we're giving them. So it would be ideal if we have, like I said, if we start making use of our body language and our facial expressions and a lot more of gestures with the lower classes with only English, because English is becoming a very, 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 very important language. It's a global language of communication now. So without English, trying to actually go somewhere is a little difficult. We will pull through, but we will find it a little difficult. And the instrumental sounds that I'm talking about here when we have the phonic intervention is where it is placed in my mouth and how it is articulated. So if I say purr, I have the 2 lips that has to close and then open out, which is like purr. And when I say burr, I need to say the same thing, but my voice coming from here. It is burr. But when I said purr, there's no pressure on my vocal cords here on the sides. So this is the place where we can find out whether there is any change in the way we pronounce words. You can try it. If you can try purr, and when you can try burr, there will be a bloating that you feel here, right here. Do you agree? Do you feel that bloating there? Can you feel the bloating there? So that is the instrumental sound. So when I say a r, I'm saying it as a fricative. It's a r. So the r has to be like a sound which comes from the upper palate with the tongue touching the upper palate. Without that, it is not going to be an r. It will be an owl, where they have a problem with the r. They are not able to say r, but they will say owl. And the same is with the case with s. If you see, there are so many children who can say only an s. They can't say an s. They have that lisp. They have a lisp where the tongue comes out. That is called a lisp, where the tongue comes out, and they have the f, not s. So those are the instrumental sounds. And the body percussion that I mean here are where of our mouth is being used, the vocal cavity is being used, is the body percussion. The instrumental sounds is about how it sounds, but the body percussion is how it has to be articulated from the vocal cavity. The rhyme and rhythm that I'm talking about is every word has a particular syllable, every word has a particular stress, and there is a rhythm. It's not a rhythm, it's a rhythm. So the dum is spelled together, it's pronounced together. So the rhythm and the rhyme that I'm talking about, rhyme is just 1. It is not 2, it is rhyme. So when we pronounce these words, we understand that there's a particular flow to it. The flow that I'm talking about is the rhythm and the rhyme. The alliteration that I'm talking about when I come to phonics is all about how we can freely talk about the words, the sounds and the words, right? So the voice sounds that I'm talking about, again, is all about how we voice it within our mouth, because the mouth plays a huge role. The way we articulate, the way we open, the way we close, the way we use our tongue. If it is a nasal sound, like for example, is a nasal sound. But what we do, we say m, n, and ng. Okay, and ing is ng. Ng is ng. It's never a ing. It's ng. And m is never a m. It is always a m. So I just have to close my mouth and use a nasal sound and say m. The same is with n, but I'm just going to touch my tongue in the teeth ridge, the upper teeth ridge. So it's like a mm. So again, it's a nasal sound. So what happens is the voice sounds, the way we voice it is how the child grasps it. And the oral blending and segmenting is how beautifully we can actually blend the sounds and segment a word and learn that easily, right? Okay. I prefer, as a person, as an educator, I prefer to introduce these sounds in sets. The reason why I'm doing this is I'm going from the easiest to the most difficult. So if you see, sir is something which is easy for a child because it's just like a snake hissing. So it's, and that's it. And if I say a as an apple, they know it's a, and t is the most simplest and p is the most simplest. So in order of how it has to be introduced and how difficult it gets is what I have given there. And if you see the fifth set that I've put, there are doubling. So how do we pronounce the word SWIMMING? How do we pronounce that word? It's an open question to the YouTube viewers and the Zoom viewers. It's an open question. Could I have the pronunciation of the word SWIMMING?
Looking for answers if somebody wants to.
Yeah, probably
Answer?
we could unmute them if they have an answer.
Swimming.
Swimming, okay. And do you stress on the
Sorry.
Do we have a stress on the double M's?
No.
No. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's just swimming. It's not swimming. It's swimming. So when there is a word like Little, I'm talking about even right from the kindergarten level, because this is one example that I love to quote. TWINKLE is twinkle and not tinkle. But when the child comes to us in kindergarten, they like to say, tinkle, tinkle, little star. Right? So the W is swallowed by the child because that's how they've been hearing it. So when they sing the rhyme, it is tinkle, tinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. But it is actually twinkle, twinkle, little star. It is not little star, it is little star. But we don't correct it at that time because we feel that it is nice to hear the child say that, right? The childishness is there, the child's, the baby talk is still there. So it's nice to hear, oh my God, so sweet. But we have to correct that at that point. So unless we give the correction there and then, they will not learn to correct themselves. So when we find a TW, it is tw, and when you have a QU, it is a quer. It is not a coon, it is not a queen, it is not a coon, it is a queen. So if you see my lips, it goes as a round and a long way. It is a queen. So these play a very, very important role. Like I said, when I have the doubling of the letters, it is never stressed. So when I say letters, I'm not saying letters. I'm just saying letters. It is LETTERS. So even there's a doubling, but we don't stress it. We don't stress the doubles. It is always very lightly said, right? Could I move on? Any doubts so far? Any concerns? Any questions? Anything?
I think Megha ma'am has written, ma'am, for example, old MacDonald song, which has different environmental sounds of animals.
Correct, correct. So the environmental sounds, ma'am, you got it right. Thank you. You understood that right. So
Thank you.
now, you're welcome, ma'am. You're most welcome. I have an activity for all of us. So what I want to do is, this is actually to be done with only word cards. I've specified that this has to be done only with word cards. What I mean by word cards are, we have those jigsaw puzzles and we have those little fill in the blanks cards that we make as a teaching aid, right? So what I'm going to do now is, we are going to play a game where I would like you to make as many CVC words. What I mean by CVC is a consonant, vowel, consonant. It has to be 3 letters or it has to be 2 letters, and it should make absolute sense. It should not be nonsensical, right? So I could give you 2 minutes. Please write down as many CVC words as you can and CV words. This is an activity for all of us. So can we have a timer and it starts, could we have the timer and it starts now? So could we write words, CVC words? Any answers, any takers?
Yeah, so shall I just read out those answers to you?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So C, red, B, fee, sat, can, bag, pin, mock, pin, red, sat, mock.
Once again, we don't have a G there. So then how did we get a bag? We don't have a
So,
B or a G.
okay, so the answers are pouring in from both YouTube as well as Zoom. So on YouTube,
I have given a set of letters there. If you can see, I've given SATPINMDOCKLE. We are supposed to use only those letters, and we're supposed to make the maximum number of CBCs and CVs. So where did the bag come from? We don't have a B and a G.
okay, so I'm reading out the rest of the answers. So it's man, pin, tap, sat, little, mop, sat, cat, pin, pan, pet, mat, tin, bat, cat, rat, sit, satin. Then we have mop, pen, pat, sat.
Right? Wonderful. That's beautiful.
Twinkle.
That's so beautiful.
Can we also make twinkle? Because there is a response from Savina ma'am.
We don't have a W.
Yeah. So Savina ma'am. Okay. So Ashwini ma'am says lip. Manisha ma'am says sat.
Okay.
Nirmala ma'am says, I know with all the satin you can make 42 words.
Okay. Right.
And then Rekha ma'am, pin, pain, mop. Arshi ma'am says nip here.
Okay.
Plates, dock,
okay.
Tap, cord, pickle.
Why did we do this activity? Thank you so much, Nidhi ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, teachers. Thank you so much, all of you. Why did we have to do this activity? What was the purpose of this activity? Why did I ask all of you to do this? We all know how to make words, but why did I ask you to do this? What was the purpose?
To stimulate. Gulhena ma'am says that, to stimulate. Megha ma'am says, and make them think.
Okay.
Himali ma'am says to increase vocabulary.
Awesome. Okay.
And on YouTube, people are still continuing to make the words. So there's a, yeah, so they're so excited to make the words. Okay, so there are a few more responses, ma'am. So to understand vowel pronunciations, to make them active, to engage children in activities, to think and form new words.
Okay.
Now we have answers on Zoom. With Vikrant sir says, with help of this letter, children can learn the sounds as well as will be able to make and learn words.
Thank you. That's the main purpose, because they will start sounding those letters using phonics. So the moment they start sounding it and the moment they start framing the words, they will start reading it using phonics. So if it doesn't make sense to them, they know that it is not a word which has any meaning. So the moment they are not able to get a meaningful word, they will not consider that at all. They will not consider that at all. Dock is a word. D-O-C-K is a word. But for them to understand that D-O-C-K is a word, they're too young for it, right? Unless, of course, they're in the higher grades. This activity can be actually given even in grade 1 and 2, because that's the way the children actually start understanding using phonics to make spellings, right? They make words, they understand the spellings, and they will create new words, okay? So thank you so much for participating in that. This is something which I really love. These are called the sound buttons. And the reason why it's called sound buttons, if you look at it, I have put a dot, I have put an oblong, and then I've put again a dot, right? There's an oval shape, then there's a dot. So if you look at where it is put, okay, the R-A-N, so it is rain. So I have put the dots based on the sounds, right? So how many of those letters go together is where I've marked. So do you understand why I have done this? So that many sounds we can actually hear in those words. So if I take the next example right below rain, which is witch, I have w-a-sh. It's a witch. So I've broken it down into 3 sounds. And if I look at the next word, which is bright, there is a b-r-i-t. So those are the sounds that I can actually hear. So what can I hear? I can hear a r-a-n. I can hear a w-ich, which. And I can hear a b-r-i-t. So it's bright. So I know that there are these many sounds and these are the spellings that go along with it. So if I break down laughter, it is l-after. It's not laughter, it is after a. So that's why I have a long oval there on top of A-U-G-H. So when we give these sound buttons as an exercise to children, they will be able to sound out the words and find out what the sounds of these are. So this is one little exercise that we could do with our children. All right, do you want to try with some words? Do any of you want to try with some words and tell me how many sound buttons we have? Do you want to try it? Any answers? Nidhi ma'am? Yes.
So I'm just waiting for a few answers. Yes. So Megha ma'am says yes.
Okay. Anybody else? So Megha ma'am, yes, I will give you words. Anybody else saying yes?
Yes. Aarti ma'am also says yes.
Okay.
Nancy ma'am is also ready.
Okay.
Arshi ma'am also says yes. Neha ma'am says yes.
How about on YouTube? Do we have any takers on YouTube for the sound buttons?
Okay. So Preeti, can we unmute the participants, please? Few of them. So
Read the name, Nidhi.
Neha ma'am. So please raise your hands, those who want to participate in this activity. So Neha ma'am, Arshi ma'am wanted to participate.
I could give you words at random and you could give me the sound buttons.
Please raise your hands, whoever wants to participate. Okay, Megha ma'am wants to participate. Preeti?
Okay, so Megha ma'am,
Yes,
are you
we have
there?
unmuted.
Yes, and Amrita ma'am too. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I have Amrita ma'am and I have Megha ma'am. So for Amrita ma'am, it is sound, and for Megha ma'am, it is buttons.
Okay, ma'am.
Others could do it as well. The ones who are listening, ones who are watching, you could also try it.
Ma'am, I have to say it on a new word, or you're going to give it, ma'am?
I gave the word. I just gave the word, ma'am. I just gave you the word where you have to give me the sound buttons. The sound buttons are what I've drawn on top of each word. Can you see the word that I've written, rain, where I have the r, a, n. So those are the three sound buttons that I have. The same way for sound, for the word sound, or for the word buttons, how many sound buttons can we have?
Okay, ma'am. First word is rain. So in that, I have to tell you the sound.
How many sounds? How many sounds do we hear?
Ma'am,
Two.
A is there. In two sounds.
Two sounds.
Only two? Are you sure?
Ma'am,
Four sounds.
A is a digraph.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So we hear only two sounds, that is r and n in rain.
Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for that explanation. Beautifully understood. Beautiful.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vidya ma'am.
Thank you, Nidhi
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I'm moving on. This is the phase 3 where I'm getting into the progression with graphemes, and I'm continuing with graphemes, right? So the letter progression and the graphemes are where we start clubbing the letters together to give us a different sound. So if you look at these examples that I've given, C and H, when you say it separately, it's K and H, but when it comes together, it's a sh, right? So there's a different sound that is formed by the blending of two independent letters. So that has to be given to the child in that particular order. If you remember, I gave you the first 5 sets earlier. These are the continuation. The same way when we talk about I, E, ig, or, O, R. So the last set where I've just written teach, all that has to be given with the articulation with our mouth. You know, we have to pronounce that first with our mouth. We have to give them the pronunciation and then make them say it before we give them a word where they can find that. So I can be, like I said, it can be may, it can be pain, it can be lake. So there are three different ways. So we have to give them the pronunciations before we go further. Okay. Okay. This is something which I love to play with everybody. So we need to find out how many sounds are there. I'm not asking you for anything else but the sounds. I have done the first two, which is p, I, g. So the second one is church, where I have a ch, ch. So I can hear three sounds, which is ch, ch. So can anybody go with the remaining list that I have?
So Himali ma'am says boy, two sounds.
Correct. Thank you.
Rebir ma'am also says boy has one. So she says boy has one sound. And curl has two.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn has two.
Mm-hmm.
Chick has three.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says curl has two.
Okay.
And chick has three.
Okay.
Down has three. Shirt has three.
Okay.
Down three.
Okay.
So I'm also reading from YouTube where Swishta ma'am says curl has two.
Okay.
Ranjita ma'am says curl has three. Neelu ma'am says curl has two.
Okay.
Gauri ma'am says curl has two.
Mm-hmm.
Nilesh
Curl
sir
has just
says
two.
chick has three.
Okay. Curl has only two, not three. It's curl. It's curl. So it's just curl. So it's just two. Okay. So chick
Now
has
we have it
three.
for together as well. Together has three. Butterfly has five.
Thank you. Butterfly has got five. Perfectly found. Perfectly spotted. Together has only three. Do we want to redo that?
So together, Megha ma'am says four.
Okay, Mega Ma'am, do you think you can give me the breakup there for the four? Could you help me with the breakup?
Together has four. Snehal ma'am says that.
All right.
Nirmala ma'am also on YouTube, she says four. Butterfly
Beautiful.
three.
Okay. Butterfly three. Okay, butterfly how three, ma'am? Could you help me with the answer there? If you've mentioned that butterfly has only three, could you help me with how three?
In together, the R is silent in the end of three. In the end, so three. That's the explanation given by Umaima ma'am.
Okay.
And so rest of them on YouTube, they're saying together has four.
Okay. Okay. So are we done with the answers for together?
So Seema ma'am has explained it is two, ge, th, e, er at the end.
Okay.
So four sounds.
Okay.
And then Vikrant sir has broken thorn into th or no.
Wonderful. All right.
Okay, so now people have started breaking it up.
Okay, so boy is like what ma'am said, there's just one because it's boy. Okay, we don't say anything else, it's just boy. But curl has got two, horn has got two, not three, it's just two because thorn. Okay, it's horn. And chick has got two, three, which is chick. Okay, down has got only two because it's down. So it's only two. Shirt. So it's three again. Together. So together. So it's four. Butterfly is butterfly. So we have five there, right? So this is how we break the sounds. This is actually, what is the purpose of breaking these sounds? Why do we have to break these sounds as such? For what reason? Do we have a particular reason why we have to break it into sounds?
To learn spellings, to make it makes reading easy, to give proper stress, for pronunciation, syllables, so that there are no
Syllables.
mistakes.
Thank you. So the syllables, the spellings, the pronunciation, no errors, all these are the correct answers. So it's because we give the syllable stress, we are able to give them the correct way of writing it using the pronunciation, breaking it into the pronunciation down, and then writing the spellings, right? So I'm moving on to syllables, like what somebody said. I'm taking syllables. And what is a syllable? Syllable is nothing but it is a word or a part of the word with just one vowel sound. So just to get this right, I have a small video which I'm going to show you, and we will understand from that particular video how we can break the syllables. All right. Okay. So we have syllable types, which are 7 in number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in number, which are the closed, the open, the vowel consonant, which is the ending with E, and then we have the vowel team, we have the R controlled, the last LE, and then we have the leftover stable final. Okay. So why do we call it as closed? The first set of words, which I've given as an example there. Why are they called closed syllables? Any particular answers for that? Why are they called closed syllables?
No answers yet. Okay, so there is an answer here: to make it easy. Reading helps in proper pronunciation. That's what Manisha ma'am has written.
All right, thank you for that.
One vowel.
Okay, but why is the first line mentioned as closed? Why is the first row that I have there? Why is it closed syllables? Why am I calling those words closed syllables? It's
so vowels are in the middle. Deepti ma'am says that.
Okay.
Little Angels School, they say silent words. Aarti ma'am says the ending sound has the correct phonic sound of letter.
Okay.
Gulhina ma'am says because it appears at the end of the word.
Okay.
Kokila ma'am says short vowels.
Thank you. The short vowels and the closed ending that comes in, which is the last letter, which is pronounced correctly, all those are the correct answers. I'll take all your answers. And if you look at, I close with the t. I don't have an open end there. So it's a closed word, right? So it's a closed syllable, at, and it's done. And if I say shrink, it's done. And there's no continuation. If I say moss, I'm done with the s. I'm done with the puppet, the t, I'm done. And if I go for fantastic, I'm done with the k sound. Okay. So everywhere it stops suddenly at that particular consonant that comes in there. So it doesn't go beyond that. But the next set, if you look at the open syllables, it's go, which is actually a vowel. Again, it's she, which is a vowel. It's flew, it's again a vowel. The difference here is the lady, which is pronounced with an E, which is a vowel, which is why it's still an open vowel. It's an open syllable. And we have the hero, and we have the radio, and we have the potato. So all these end in a vowel sound, which is an open sound. If you remember, vowels are pronounced without any break in the airflow from the lungs. There's no stoppage for the airflow. It's freely pronounced. So this is an open syllable word, right? The ending E is actually stopped in the third set, which means it's completely silent. And the first vowel that comes before it, precedes it, takes its own sound. So if I say 8, A is A, correct? Am I right or am I wrong? And when I go for hike, the I is I. I don't say it as E. I don't say it as E. I say it as I. And if I say roam, the E is not pronounced. So it's O. So it's roam. And if I say lifetime, it's two words put together. And even then, both the E's are silent. I don't have a lifey time. It's lifetime. So I and I, again, is lifetime. So it's a vowel consonant that stops there without the E being pronounced. And the same is with Valentine. The E is not there. So it's Valentine, and that's it, right? So when I go to the vowel theme, which is the next set, if you see the words, it is eat, where the second vowel is cut and it's lengthened. The first one is lengthened. It's a long sound. It's eat. It is green. It is throat. It is cloud, and it is headway. So which means all these have a longer sound, right? So it's a theme. There's a theme of two vowels put together, and it gives a longer sound. The controlled R, like I said earlier, the horse is the biggest example that I can give you. And the same way we have another word that's there, star, because it's stopped, it's controlled. We are not saying star, we're not saying horse, we don't say horse. Do we say horse? We don't, which is a wrong pronunciation. So when we say horse, the R is controlled over there. So that is why it is called a controlled R syllable. So or, horn, star, germ. Third, it's not third, it is third. So the has to come from the back of the throat. The back of the throat, the front, the end of this mouth cavity right here. The R has to come from there, which is third. Then we have a farmer. Again, it's from here. And we don't say surgery, we say surgery. So it's not pronounced. So these are the reasons why it's called the R controlled. When I go for the last LE, we don't say able, we don't say bugle, we don't say rifle, but instead we say able, we say bugle, we say rifle, we say puzzle. So the LE that comes there, the E gets silent because of the L that comes along with it. So the L and the E, when it comes together, it is only the sound that we say, right? We can't say people. I met so many people today. How does it sound? Does it sound nice? You know, he saw the puzzle today. So it sounds nice, doesn't it? We have
hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and the waves created a replay. Yeah.
So Megha ma'am is laughing it out. Yeah.
So we don't use that. So the E is made silent. So that's why we have only the consonant L that comes there, and the E is made silent. And what I'm talking about, the leftovers or the stable final, is because if you say those words there, it is a nature, which is stable there. Then we have a natural, which is stable. There's no break or there's no stress that comes there. Nation is free flowing. Explosion is also stable. There's no up down there. It's just a normal way of saying it. There is no high and low. We have an explosion. We don't say explosion. We don't say that, right? We don't say nation. We don't say that. We say nation. We don't have an extra stress that goes there. So that's why it's a stable final, right? Okay. So I'm just going to share this video. And while I'm sharing this video, I will be stopping at a few places where I would be explaining a little extra than what is given there. Okay. So let's watch this lovely video on syllables.
Extra English practice.
Okay, let's talk about syllables. Words in English are made up of syllables, and a syllable contains one vowel sound. So for example, my name, which is Misha, has two syllables, Misha, and two vowel sounds, right? E, me, and a, sha.
And my name, Larissa, has three vowel sounds. La, a, ri, I, sa, a. Larissa. Three syllables. Now, when you're thinking about syllables, each syllable has a vowel sound, we said, not a vowel letter. So some words have the same number of vowel sounds and vowel letters, and some don't. For example, hat. Hat has one vowel and one vowel sound, a, hat. But heat has two vowels, E and A, but one vowel sound, E. So heat only has one syllable.
So do we understand the difference, like what they said just now? So a hat has got just one vowel in between, one vowel letter, and here the heat has got two vowel letters, which is E and A, but the E and A put together is heat. If you remember the long sound that we spoke a little earlier, do we recollect that from the previous slide? So that is why I wanted to show this. So now you can see that there are two vowels, but there's only one vowel sound, right? So that's how it plays. So syllables is beautiful play of words. You know, it plays beautifully with the words. So I'm sorry.
Extra English practice.
Okay, let's talk about syllables. Words in English are made up of syllables, and a syllable contains one vowel sound. So, for example, my name, which is Misha, has two syllables, Misha, and two vowel sounds, right? E, me, and a, sha.
And my name, Larissa, has three vowel sounds. La, a, ri, I, sa, a. Larissa. Three syllables. Now, when you're thinking about syllables, each syllable has a vowel sound, we said, not a vowel letter. So some words have the same number of vowel sounds and vowel letters, and some don't. For example, hat. Hat has one vowel and one vowel sound, a, hat. But heat has two vowels, E and A, but one vowel sound, E. So heat only has one syllable. Some more?
Let's hear some more.
Here's a big word, turquoise.
Ooh.
Turquoise, count up those vowels. There are 5 vowel letters, but listen, turquoise. Turquoise, only 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Because there's only 2 vowel sounds, oi. Oi is confusing because it's a diphthong.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about that in another video.
We promise. And one more thing I want to mention, college. College has 3 vowel letters, but only 2 syllables. College. College. When a word ends in an E, that E is not pronounced. Unless it goes with an L, there's an exception. Little. Little has 2 vowel letters and 2 syllables. Little. But language or college only have the final E is silent. It's not a vowel sound.
Okay, so why is it important? Why do you want to know about syllables?
Yeah.
Right? Seems silly.
Silly. Because it's fun.
Because it's fun.
That's not the real reason.
No. The real reason, you need to be pronouncing the syllables correctly in order for people to understand you.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just enough to have the right sounds, like the right letter sounds, but you need to have the syllables so people can understand your words. If you add an extra syllable or you miss a syllable, then people might not understand the word you're saying. So this is stuff you need to know.
And also, if you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, which is something we'll talk about again in another video, then people may not understand you.
Right?
If I said, hey, Misha,
I'd be like, who is that?
but hey, Misha,
She's talking to me. Hey, Larissa.
hey, Larissa,
Larissa. See, it makes a difference. It's
does.
important. Yeah.
So another question, how do you know how many syllables are in a word?
Tell us.
I have 3 ways.
Love
One, you can know just by listening. Listen and tap it out. English, tomorrow. That'll work with practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Another way, you can look in your dictionary. Dictionaries, good dictionaries will always indicate where the syllables are in a word. And the third way is you can ask someone.
Yeah. Plus, then you get some conversation practice.
Yeah, and maybe you make a friend. Win, win, win.
Yeah. Syllables lead to friends.
If only that were true.
If only it were that easy.
So let's play a game.
Love it. I love games. What do you got?
Today we have a game. It's called Syllable Pyramid.
Ooh.
Pyramid is a triangle, and in this game we're going to listen for syllables, listen for the number of syllables, count them up in your head, and then move along the pyramid to the bottom.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So for this game, you're going to need a syllable pyramid, which you can print off, and then follow along with your finger as we say the words. So start at the beginning where it says begin, at the top where it says begin.
Straight.
So this is one thing that we can use in our class. The syllable pyramid is something which we can introduce in our class, where we ask children
Extra
to
English
actually
practice.
follow that.
Okay,
And
so
then
one
they
level
can
at a time.
Follow it.
And when you get to the bottom, see if the
How
number,
they are able to
the
break
number
the
and letter
word.
that
Ma'am,
you're
can
on
we,
is the same
ma'am,
one.
can we just pause this video, please? Yeah.
So too. So we're going to start with some words that are about.
So what, is it okay? Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible, and just wanted to tell you that As people are watching this video, they were also trying to break their own names into different sounds. So Disha ma'am has tried to do it. Disha ma'am, Amrita ma'am, Shitija ma'am, Maria ma'am, Tolika ma'am, Preeti ma'am, Aruna ma'am.
Okay.
So all of them have tried doing it with their names. Yeah.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very nice. So this is something, this pyramid, the syllable pyramid is something which will actually help even children and us, of course, us teachers, of course, to find out exactly how many syllables are there in any word. So the reason why I wanted to show the syllable pyramid is actually to give us an upper hand on how we can break it for children as a game. So learning English, like I said earlier, English is a funny and a funny language, and it has multiple pronunciations and multiple spellings, and each word is pronounced differently, each letter is pronounced differently. So this is one way we can go ahead and give them those little pronunciations.
Clothing. So begin at the top. The first word is t-shirt.
T-shirt. Okay.
So you count it. If it's one syllable, move to the one. If it's two, move to the two. Okay, t-shirt. Next word, headscarf.
So if you can see, they have moved from the begin to the two. So they've circled it and they're just showing us an example of how we can actually break it. So t-shirt is two syllables. It's t-shirt. So there's two there and they've done that. Now they're moving on to headscarf. Let's see how much. That's again two.
All right. Next, Bermuda shorts.
Ooh. Bermuda shorts.
Four.
Got it.
Dinner jacket.
Dinner jacket.
Four again.
Okay.
And turtleneck sweater.
Ooh, long one. Turtleneck sweater. Okay.
Okay, what do you got?
I ended up at 5C.
5C. Did you get 5C?
Ooh.
So do you see how?
All right, let's try another one. Another
how
set of
they
clothing.
made,
More clothing
how
words,
they
okay?
made it move. They made the person move from the beginning to the second. Then it was again two. Then it was again four. Then they came down to four. Then they came down to five. So they did not go 1, 2, 3, 4. They did not go that way. It was based on the number of syllables that they could hear when they broke that word. So let's try another one. So this one, I'm going to pause and I'm going to play so that we will understand this better. We have more in this. We have some more in this. So what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going to pause and play. Let's try it. Okay. Oops, my God, I'm not sure why it keeps moving away from me. It keeps moving away from me.
Extra English practice. So we're going to start with some words that are about clothing. This tissue. Okay.
Bermuda shorts. Got it. Get. Okay.
And turtleneck sweater.
Ooh, long one. Turtleneck sweater.
We could play along. I'm not going to stop. We could play along
Okay.
because if I stop
Okay,
it.
what do you got?
kind of
I ended up
gives
at
me a glitch.
5C.
5C. Did you get 5C? All right, let's try another one. Another set of clothing. More clothing words, okay? Start at the top. Begin. First word,
How many?
coat.
Okay. It's an easy one.
Belt
How
buckle.
many? Any answers? Belt buckle.
Belt buckle. All
So, ma'am,
right.
there are many answers which are coming in.
Good. Wonderful. So they are able to follow it. Wonderful.
Okay.
Happy to receive those answers for sure.
Flannel pajamas.
Another long one. Flannel pajamas. Got it.
And windbreaker jacket.
Ooh.
Windbreaker jacket.
Okay.
What do you got?
I got 5C again.
5C again.
Woo!
The answer's not always going to be 5C, I promise.
It was a coincidence. If you didn't get it, you can pause and rewind the video and try again.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we do some sports?
Yeah, let's do some.
We're
do
going
some
to the
sports.
library,
Gosh,
so let's just try
neither of us
everything
really
that
like
we-
sports,
we
but
will
I
not
can
have.
I can
It's
stand to
just
hear the
fun.
words.
Yeah, we're not good at it, but we can
Good.
count syllables.
We can count syllables.
Okay, so begin.
Okay.
First, darts.
Darts. Got it.
Darts. That's tricky, actually.
Is that a sport? I thought that was just something people did in bars.
It's a game sport.
We don't know.
Darts. Next, cricket.
Cricket. Got it. I played cricket once on the beach. I was awful. Carry on.
Mountain biking.
Mountain biking. There's a sport I could be excited about.
How about beach volleyball? This one's tricky too. Beach volleyball.
Okay.
And the last, open water swimming.
Ooh. Water swimming. Okay.
What do you got?
6B.
6B! 6B?
Woo! Did you do it?
Maybe? 6B? Not. Try again.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
One more thing of sports.
Yeah, one more.
Begin.
Okay.
Tennis.
So this is one way of giving them
Baseball.
more of syllable practice.
Okay.
Because when they do
Archery.
the syllabification,
Archery.
the syllabification
Got
of the
it.
words, and
Water
that will actually
polo.
help them understand how to break it
Water
into syllables.
Polo.
Break it into smaller chunks.
American football.
Ooh. American.
Not to be confused with real football.
Yeah, real. Okay, I got it.
What do you got?
6B.
6B!
Woo!
You're
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
I like to play.
Yeah, you should play. Let's
All right.
trade. Okay, I'm going to do countries.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I got
Fun
good
one,
ones.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so start at the top. Begin.
Now, do we have anybody
Here we
signing
go.
up with?
First word, France.
France.
Second, China.
China.
Next, Venezuela.
Venezuela. Got it?
And then Indonesia.
Indonesia. Yep.
And last, a long one, Republic of Congo.
Republic of Congo. 6B.
6B, perfect.
Did you get 6B?
Yeah. Let's try another. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. This time we're going to do words that start with the letter D.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the letter D.
It's a favorite.
Why not?
All right,
Nina,
first
wanna play
word, dancer.
Dancer.
Downtown.
Downtown. Do you know that song?
I do. I'd like to hear a little more of it though.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go.
Downtown. I'm not. Why did you let me sing? Next, dangerous.
Dangerous. I have a song for that too.
Oh,
You know she's a little bit dangerous. Okay.
you can add your own songs too. It's part of the game. Next, disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
It was a real disadvantage. Last, descriptive essay.
Descriptive. You're a grammar teacher.
I love grammar and writing.
Descriptive essay. I got 5B.
You got it, 5B.
Yeah.
Good job.
And extra points for the songs.
Yeah, definitely extra points for the songs.
What do you think? One more?
I think one more.
Okay, give me another letter. I like the letter ones.
Okay. Another letter one, M.
M.
That is my favorite letter.
Misha.
Here we go.
Yeah.
First one, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe you get it. Maybe you don't.
We're going to find out.
Maybe I will.
Next one, monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah. Magic wand.
Magic wand.
Then motorcycle. Vroom, vroom.
I love when you make the sound effects.
I do it a lot in real life. I can't help it. I can't help making sound effects.
Motorcycle. Yeah, got it.
And last one,
Yeah.
macaroni and cheese.
Woo! Macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese. Okay, 6B.
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 Oh, maybe she is, and she did.
Yeah, and she did. To summarize, syllables are important because they affect your pronunciation. They affect the way people understand you when you're speaking English.
How do you count the syllables? You think about the vowels, right? But not the vowel letter. You want to focus on the sound. So which vowels are making a sound? Then you can either tap out the beat or snap it out. Or if you're not sure, you can always look in the dictionary.
Or don't forget, ask a friend.
Ask a friend.
Or ask a almost friend or potential friend.
That's right, potential friend.
Soon to be friend.
Soon to be friend. Okay, have fun. You can play the game at home. So try it with your friends or your family. You can see if you're pronouncing the words right for them to understand.
That's right. Okay, have fun.
Right.
Syllables lead to friends.
So what did we find from that? What did we find from that video? How we can actually use the vowel sounds and break the words into syllables. So why did we want to have those syllables? The syllables are what will actually help us understand how we have to pronounce that words and how we have to break them out. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to show you a little bit of sight words, and I'm going to show you a little bit of tricky words which we have in English. So these are the common sight words that we've all seen, yes or no, and we use them quite a bit with our children on a daily basis. Are these the words that we use on a regular basis? Do we use these? It's a day-to-day word kind of thing. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So Neha ma'am, Megha ma'am, Arshi ma'am, all of them are saying yes.
Okay. The most used words are these. Okay. Other than okay, of course. And then I'm talking about the confusing words. If you see these, they are set of words. There are two sets of words, two words in each set. And the first one is way and way. But what is the difference between the way and the way? What happens? One is the way to something, the other is to weigh and understand how much it is in weight, right? The same as with stairs and stairs. So the way we pronounce it also plays a huge role. So why do we have these kind of words? What are these words called? Which spell different but sound kind of the same? What are they called? They have a particular name.
Just waiting. Homophones. Neha ma'am says that. Homophones.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Thank you, Neha ma'am. Thank you. That is the homophones. So these are a few homophones that I put in here so that we understand that they are heard the same way by the child. Like I mentioned earlier about the hair, initially when I started, the hair that I talk about could be H-A-I-R or it can be H-A-R-E. But how is the child going to understand? It's based on the sentence that I talk or the sentence that I give the child. So the pronunciation that I have makes a big difference when I speak that out in a sentence, right? Okay, so a few points to remember for all of us educators. We have to start with an explanation and then make them understand what it is and then make them go and do the practice of phonics. So first we start with an explanation, then we give them the understanding of what phonics is, what phonemes are, what graphemes are, what syllables are, how the syllabification is done, and then we get them to practice it. So without an explanation, without them understanding, giving them something to practice is not going to help at all. Of course, when it is in the lower grades, we can give them the explanation based on how we break the word, not how we actually give it phonetically, right? So phonetically, the word given to a child is totally different from how we give it normally when we break it to the child. So let's break that into smaller chunks and give it to the child. Let them understand those little chunks and then start writing it. That will help them understand how it is. And of course, systematically and explicitly, we have to teach phonics to the children. Why I mean this is because the more we have a perfect gradation of the phonics, the easier it is for the child to grasp it and do it in practice, put it into their language use on a daily basis. Explicitly, because it has to be openly said, like I mentioned earlier, please do not have any inhibitions. Please do not forget to use your facial expressions and your facial, your mouth cavity when we articulate the words. So only then they will understand it. And of course, they need to relate the letters and the sounds. They need to break the spoken words into its sounds. And finally, they also have to blend the sounds and form new words. So that helps them understand the phonics a lot better, understand spellings and make use of the words, and make them conscious of the way they are actually pronouncing those letters and those sounds, and make them say it like what I did right now. Ask them to hold their, the vocal cords, or ask them to hold behind the ears, or if they are making a sound with the nose, it has to sound from here. They need to hold the nostril on top of the nostrils, and that will actually make them understand how they are making use of that particular sound and are they pronouncing it correctly. And yes, of course, they have to write the sounds of the letters and the words, and they have to say it aloud. The more they say it aloud, the better they understand how these words sound and the letters sound, right? And of course, let's help them apply it on a regular basis, whether it's for reading, whether it's for writing, whether it's for just, the normal casual communication that we have. Let's help them to apply this wherever they can. And yes, to write, definitely they need to do that. Only then they will be able to go from, simple to complex in the writing of English. And yes, they have to have a very clear, very clear understanding of how systematically they have to understand this. And we as teachers should be able to find out how well they can understand the phonics and where do they stand with regards to the spellings and usage of these sounds of the letters. Okay, and of course, let's see how well they grasp new words using the phonics and how well they are able to bring out the phonics of new words. This is something which we can check with children. Okay, and I've just given an example. VAT is actually sounds like CAT. So that sounds like a cat. So this is something which they should be able to tell us, and they should be able to give us that sounds like cat. And I'm giving you a few other tips as well, which will help us understand that they have understood the letter sound association beautifully and they're able to decode it, even though we give nonsense words, which actually have no meaning at all, right? And this will actually help with their fluency and how they can actually apply the phonics that they have learned into their regular usage. And of course, when they're not reading the real words, there will be no confusion to the child, like I said earlier, because they will not be able to give a meaningful word as a complete whole. The phonics of those words, those letters, those sounds, they will not be meaningful whole. So there will be no confusions at all for the child. Like, for example, I've given a K-E-Z, which is like KEZ. Do we have any word like KEZ? Can you give me some other example like KEZ? Do we have a word KEZ? No, we don't. So do we have any other examples for such nonsensical words? Any examples?
So just looking for answers, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Fez, buzz. Buzz is a word, I guess, yeah?
Buzz is a word. Buzz, B-U-Z-Z is a word.
So
Buzz
F-E-Z, F-E-Z, Y-E-Z.
Is not a word.
So just waiting for more answers. Preeti ma'am says Nen, N-E-N.
Okay.
Nazneen ma'am says M-E-Z.
Okay, that's not a word at all.
Deboshri ma'am says Hez, H-E-Z, H-E-Z.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, there's one more from YouTube. Archana ma'am says T-E-Z.
Okay, Tez is something that we have now, which is like Google Pay. Is earlier it was Tez, right? But now it's come out as Google Pay. So yes, they have used it just like a catchy phrase or maybe catchy word, so that they can say that it's Tez is a payment. So the Tez that they have in Hindi is fast, so it's quick payment. So they've used Tez. So they have actually transliterated that and they've just pronounced it as T-E-Z. Okay. So thank you so much, teachers. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, there is a question here. There's a question from Neha ma'am. She says, is slang language a part of nonsense word used these days? So like,
Slang is more. Thank you for that question, ma'am. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for that. Nidhi ma'am for that. Slang is a colloquial language. Okay, there is a slang can be used as a local usage, and it is not nonsensical generally, because that is like a diction that has been developed locally among the people, and they've made it like a common usage. So it's only in certain areas we have the slangs. Like even in English, we have a yeah, Y-E-A-H. It is actually not a formal way of saying yes. It is an informal way of saying yes. So it's like, a very casual way. So the slang that we use, the slang that children use today, the typos that they have. So the words that they use like ROFL or LOL and all those words that they use are all slangs which they have developed to make sure that the regular communication is in a different fashion. So slang is not I wouldn't say that slang is a nonsensical word, but yes, it is like a colloquial word. It can be, regionalized, and it may be used only in certain regions. So that's a slang. I've given more of, nonsense words. with short vowels. Ma'am, does that answer your question?
So Anagha ma'am is asking no knife. How to teach no and knife? As in KNOW and KNIFE.
KNIFE. Okay. Ma'am, when you say no, first you can teach them the k, n, o. Okay. But then you can break it and make the K silent and then say no. So NOW is now, and when we add a K to it, it becomes no, right? So when we have to teach something with a KN, it is not, it's very difficult because that is one particular blend that comes there, but only the N is sounded. We don't say knife, we don't say kno, we don't say knowledge, but it's only knowledge. So the K becomes very silent over there. So that's one little weird blend that we have in English. And the way that we can teach this is put the K and N to the child first, and then put the O and W, and then put it together, break it like that, and put it to the child, and then say it is no. I know. So when they ask, is NO the correct spelling? No, it's not the correct spelling. It is not the correct spelling. So I know something. I know maths. I know the answers to the questions. So when it comes as I know, they should be able to understand how it is sentence and then give it to them. So in a lower class, especially in first standard and second standard, where we have this difficulty of K and OW, we have to break it as two parts, KN and OW. So when we give it as two different parts and then blend it together, they will understand it is no. It will take a little time for the child to understand that this is, the K is silent. It is okay. If they say no, it is fine. It is perfectly fine because they're just learning it. But correct it. We have to correct it by saying it is no. It is no, right? And the W is also silent. The K is also silent in that. So it's just a NO that is heard over there. So break it into two and then put it together. So that should help the child. The same with the knife. We can say KNIFE. So break it as KNIFE. So it's knife. So it's KNI is nine and FE is per. So break it as two parts and then give it to the child. So when this breaking happens, when we segment this is what is called as segmenting. So when we segment this will help the child to re-blend it together, re-put it together. They'll be able to blend it together and give you the correct pronunciation and the correct word, the correct spelling. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
So there is a comment from Arshi ma'am. She says, next time I'm very much sure that my English class will be more interesting. Thank you, Arshi ma'am.
Thank you.
And there is this teacher on Vikrant sir on YouTube. He is requesting, so ma'am, request you to please explain the rules for the letter C and S.
For the letter C and
S. So.
So, okay. For C, what happens is it's a K, okay? It's not a C. It's said as C, ABC, but the sound is K for the reason that we have a atter. So if we take AKE, C-A-K-E, it becomes a K. So generally, when the C comes in, the C is always a K and never a S, right? And when I talk about S, the S and the C has a difference when we say it also. If I'm going to say S, it is a S, but it's a C. So when it comes as an S, it is like from right here. When I'm just sounding the letter sound, not the phonics, S is from here. Right from here, it has to come S. So if you see, it comes right from inside and then it finishes at the tip of my teeth ridge. So it is S. So when it comes from there, the sound of the letter S is stopped over there. But when I say C, it is open. It just comes right from the front part. It's just a frontal sound. It's not from inside. So when I have a word where there is a C coming in, it has to start and it has an A or it has, say, U or it is cute. We don't say suit. We say cute. K-U-T. So it's cute. And the same way it is cake. So it's cake. And we have like another car, car. So those are simple words that we can actually use and we can tell the children. And the same thing is with S. When it comes with S, we say sir, right? We say snake, we say sleep, but only when there is a H that comes next to it, it becomes a sh. So it becomes ship, it becomes sheep. So the S and the H, when it comes together, it blends and it becomes a sh. And still it's one sound, it's still one sound, but this is how the pronunciations will change. So when we talk about the rule of C and the rule of S, the S is actually a sound that comes from inside. It comes from inside, but the C comes just from the frontal part. So that's why the change in the way we pronounce it when we have it in words. So Vikranta, does that clarify the doubt for you?
I guess yes. Yeah.
Right. So I'll just, could I move ahead with this? Nidhi ma'am, any other
Yes,
questions?
please. Yes, please.
So I have used the short vowels, I have used the long vowels, and I have used the blends, and I have made a lot of nonsense words here. I've made like 9 nonsense words here. But my reason of giving these nonsense words is for the child to actually understand that I cannot make a nonsense word and read it out. So if I try to read B-O-T-E, it's supposed to be boat, but I don't have a boat like that. It is not a boat. This is not a boat. And I cannot say rupee. I cannot say roop. It's not roop, right? I cannot do that. So it doesn't make any sense. There's no meaning in that word at all. So giving them those nonsense words will also actually help them understand whether they have actually taken the essence of phonics and have been able to implement that into their regular usage of breaking the words with phonics and putting them together for the sake of spellings. So this will actually help us. Of course, now that we are going through these times where we have to do online classes, giving them a one-on-one with the phonics is going to be a little difficult, but we can do it on a regular basis, or we can do it like once in a week, where we can actually get them to talk something and correct their errors, correct their pronunciation errors based on what they read from the textbook. So this is one exercise that we could do to correct their pronunciations and how they use the phonics. And of course, we need to have, as teachers, we need to have an entire list of what we are going to give the children before they actually read it out. So every time they read it out and every time they have actually read the nonsense word and they have pronounced it, just put a tick mark against it so that we know that they've done it. It need not be correct. It need not be, it may be wrong. It's fine. But I have just mentioned that, once that they have read correctly, because they have been able to put those phonics together to actually sound the word. That's what I mean by read correctly. So the ones that they read correctly, yes, what I mean is only the phonic reading of it, right?
Ma'am, there is one word which even I'm confused about now. So Ava ma'am asks, ma'am always confused with the pronunciation of the word schedule. Is it schedule or schedule? How do we pronounce it?
Okay, there are 2 versions for it. If you look at it, because we have a received pronunciation in India, which was not our language, English was never a language here. Because we have a received pronunciation, we have a multitude of spellings, a multitude of pronunciations that we have. So the schedule and the schedule that we have are 2 different kinds of pronunciations from 2 different places. So if you look up in the dictionary, there are like the same as with organize. If you look at the spellings of organize, we have SE and ZE. Do you agree or disagree?
So, Ava ma'am, does it answer your question? Yes.
It's the same way. It's
Yes,
the same way.
it
Like
is the
how
same.
we have, yes, how we have the organize with an SE and organize with a ZE, we have the same thing with schedule and the schedule. So because, like I mentioned earlier, for us in India, we have a received pronunciation and we try and follow a neutral accent across India. For us, we can use either the US or the UK or the Australian English. So it's up to us. Schedule is correct. Schedule is also correct. The way we pronounce. So can anybody sound this out for me? This is for us to just understand what the nonsense words I mean are. Does it make
Who
any
wants
sense?
to pronounce that?
Anybody who'd like to pronounce this word?
Okay, so there are, okay, Hemali ma'am. Preeti, can we unmute Hemali ma'am, please?
Already, I have unmuted her. The
Yeah,
participants
yeah,
who are raising hands, we are unmuting them.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and I'm on. It's Grofetum.
Okay, all right. Do you think it has to be Grofetum or it should be Groofetum?
Yeah, yeah. You're correct. You're correct. You're correct. I misspelled it. Mispronounced it.
So we say group. We don't say grof. So we say
It's
group.
we can even pronounce it as Grofetum. Ow.
We can.
OU is ow. Yes.
We
OU
can.
is ow.
We can. We can.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how about this? Would you like to go with this?
Tentrong.
So
Okay.
Gitanjali ma'am is also there. Gitanjali ma'am can also try. Swapna ma'am, Gitanjali ma'am, anybody. Yeah.
What is this
Anybody?
one? Ma'am, it's Tenrock.
Okay, the T is silent. Okay, Stenrock. Okay, Ronk. What about this?
Oh, ma'am.
I'm going from easy to difficult, am I not?
You should have shown the words earlier. Nobody would have actually tried.
That's why I went one at a time, Nidhi ma'am. That's why I went one at a time.
Kibro.
Could I repeat? Could you repeat that, ma'am?
Yeah. Chaisel Kibro or Kibiru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good try. Very nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice try by all of you. So the one reason why I gave those nonsense words for all of us is because we understand that they didn't make any sense to us, but we used the phonics and we tried to put them together and sound it out. Didn't we do that? So this is the same way children would love to do it even when we give it to them. Give them some word like this at random and ask them to sound it out. The moment they read it out and they pronounce it, we will understand, that they have understood the concept of phonics beautifully. And of course, for children or for adults or for anybody, it's never too late to start learning phonics. And the fun with phonics and spellings that I was talking about actually has a beautifully explicit and systematic way of ensuring that this phonics is taught in a very fun, loving way for children. And we will enjoy it as adults too, right? So I'm just going to do a recap and I'll tell you how I'm doing it. I'd like to do it a little different. So I'm going to ask you true or false, and I'm going to give you a few statements, and I'd like to tell me whether it's true or false. Okay, the first statement says the teaching of phonics significantly develops and improves children's spelling skills, but not so much their reading skill. Do you agree or disagree? Is it true or false?
False.
Okay, false. Teaching of phonics should be systematic and explicit, not indirect or implicit.
It's true.
Okay, true. Start with short sentences or reading text and work backwards to decode the sound-letter relationships. True or false?
It's true. Gitanjali ma'am says it's true. Deepti ma'am, Gitanjali ma'am, Kokila ma'am, Deboshri ma'am, all of them are saying it's true.
Thank you. Thank you. And progress gradually from easier to more complex phonic skills in a direct manner.
So this is also true. Everybody is saying true. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm giving you the final recap, which I have done it, like I said, in a different manner. Please give me the correct sequence of steps that we should be using in phonics instructions. So I'm going to give you 4 options, and the 4 options are these. A is guided practice, B is explanation, C is application and reading and writing, and D is models. So which, according to us, is the correct sequence and sequence of steps in giving the phonics instructions?
So it's B, D, D, B, A, C. Oh my God. It's, I mean, everybody's just giving responses. So it's DBCA. Somebody says it's BDAC,
Okay.
BACD,
Okay.
BDAC,
Mm-hmm.
BDAC, BBAC,
Okay.
and the responses are pouring in. DCBA, BDAC.
Okay. Oh, so
So
I've got
on,
multiple answers. I've got DCBA. Okay.
so
Fine.
from YouTube, Vikrant sir says BDAC.
Okay.
Nida Khan ma'am says DBAC. Pooja Kumari ma'am says BADC. Sarita ma'am says DBAC.
Mm-hmm.
And so on and so forth. So Parvati ma'am has a different answer. EDAC. So there is an option E as well. Okay.
Oh, okay. Where did the E? I don't know where the E came from, but yeah, that's nice to know that there's an E there. But the correct option would be, the correct sequence would be B, D, A, and C. Because once we give the explanations and when we show them a few models of how to use this, and we guide them with a lot of practice, with guided practice, and finally, when they apply it to reading and writing, the complete sequence of phonic instruction happens. So for a child, the explanation is the most important. And from there, we model them with a lot of examples. And from there, we give them guided practice where they do it by themselves under our guidance. And finally, they go for reading and writing, right? So thank you so much, teachers, for your time. It was wonderful interacting with you. And it was a pleasure meeting you all, though it was through Zoom and through YouTube. It was nice to share these insights on phonics from me to you. Thank you so much. Any questions? I would be glad to.
So does anyone have any questions for Vidya ma'am? So ma'am, everyone is appreciating the session. They are saying, thank you so much, ma'am. Your explanation is wonderful. We really had a nice time. It was very informative.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you for engaging us. It was wonderful. So any questions for ma'am? Anything that you would like to ask her?
Yeah, Nidhi, I think Swapna ma'am has a question she was raising. Then just a second, I'll unmute.
Sure. So Shalini ma'am says thank you, and please let me know of the future webinars. Sure, ma'am, we will let you know.
Sure.
No, ma'am, you can ask. You're on. You are unmuted.
Swapna ma'am,
Ma'am, you should say thanks or thank you for everything, which is the correct way to say.
Okay. Thank you is formal and thanks is informal. So
Okay,
when I
ma'am.
say thanks, I can use thanks with my friends, but I need to use thank you when I'm saying something formal.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So any other question? Anybody? You can type in your responses or you can ask ma'am around, questions on it. Anything. Well, there are a lot of compliments pouring in, ma'am, from both the platforms. So everybody has loved the session and they say, ma'am, thank you so much for, engaging us. Thank you so much for a wonderful session.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Any question that all of you have, either on YouTube or on Zoom? So we had specially kept this time slot for you to ask any questions to Vidya ma'am. So just in case if you have something, you can please go ahead and ask.
Yeah, ma'am, you can ask your question.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the true or false session which we had, the first question, the first statement in that, the teaching of phonics significantly develops and improves child's spelling skills, but not so much their reading skills. So, ma'am, can you elaborate on this, please?
Okay, you want an elaboration on this one, right? The first one here, the first one that I've put here. Okay, so what happens is when I'm actually teaching them phonics, when I'm starting with phonics in children, they are able to improve their spelling skills because when I said like in kindergarten, if I start off with b, a, t, they will be able to break it based on the sounds. So which is like b, a, t, and that is bat. So when they are doing that, they are first understanding the spelling skills first and not the reading. They're not reading it, but they are only understanding the spelling that they're breaking down. So initially, when I'm teaching them this phonics, whether it's first standard, whether it's second standard, what they do is they break down the immediate mindset of the child is to break down that spelling using the phonics and not the reading of it. So they start breaking down the spellings and they do only phonic spelling and not phonic reading. Do we understand that? Does that clarify your answer?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. But then how do we go about with the preschoolers? Like in lower KG or the upper KG?
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, the one thing that you could do in lower KG and upper KG, the most beautiful thing is they will pick anything that you actually show with facial expressions. So if I'm going to be teaching ABCD, instead of singing the rhyme ABCD, I can make it a phonic rhyme. I can go ahead saying, abacada, afaga, so that is like ABCD. But I put the ABCD on the board and I teach them that A says A sounds A. So what happens is they will understand whenever I sing the rhyme abacada, they will understand that it is ABCD, right? So from preschool days, we can start this rhyme so that they are able to correlate that. And when we start off with the CVC words in LKG towards the end of lower kindergarten, when you do that, please do that with the phonic sounds. So the more you emphasize on the phonic sounds of those letters, the more they will hear the phonics and they will be able to spell it with phonics. So the correct pronunciations will come in, the correct spellings will come in, not the reading again. They will be able to put together and they will actually spell the phonic, but not the word. They will not read the word. They will only use the phonic to spell it. Do you understand the difference between what I'm trying?
Yeah, so if we give show them the word pan, so the child will try and say only pa, an.
Correct. But this has to be blended again. This has to be blended because then we will give the C plus VC. So if I'm going to be teaching an words like man, ran, fan, pan. So I can break it down as p and m and. So I'm just adding the p, m, r, f in front of the n. So they will know that this is the pan, this is the fan, this is, so that there's a rhyming sequence there. There's a rhyming sequence there. So the earlier when I said there's a rhythm in the rhyme, this is what I meant by the rhythm in the rhyme. So in lower grades, there's a particular rhyme that follows, right?
Okay, so
it can be given.
CV, so we can go it as CV plus C also. So if I say pa and then they add a n.
No, ma'am. No. Let's keep it the other way around because an is common. If you see an is common, but not the pa, fa, ma, ra.
Okay.
So the first letters are changing. So the first letters are changing. The second and the third are not changing. They are the same. They are the constant. So when they are constant, let's make it as C plus VC. So that will make it easier for the child for the phonic understanding, for the phonic drill that we do for them, right?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
So, any other questions? Nisha ma'am, you wanted to ask something?
Hello, ma'am.
Nisha ma'am, you are on unmute. Do you want to ask something?
No, ma'am.
Anjali ma'am, you have a question? Sorry, Nisha ma'am, sorry.
No, nothing. It was just, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It was a wonderful session and I had a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Gitanjali ma'am, do you want to ask something? Anybody in the Zoom here or on YouTube?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Anji.
Oh, okay, she's on call, I guess. So Megha ma'am wants to ask Preeti. Preeti, Megha ma'am wants to ask something, I guess.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, I know this basic phonics which I teach, ma'am. Means I have experience of at least 12 years. I'm taking pre-primary section.
Okay.
So, ma'am, I just wanted to ask, I know the basics. I teach 3-letter words till 4-letter I can teach. But, ma'am, I just wanted to know more what else I should do. Is which course I should do for the phonics. So,
Ma'am, We could check out on the Center for Foreign Language in Hyderabad, Center for English as a Foreign Language. They have a lot of courses on phonics. They have a lot of courses on how English language can be used and the phonics can be used. So please check out their website. They have quite a bit of courses. So that should actually give you a lot of insight on how you can develop this with the children also. They have a lot. The Center for English as a Foreign Language in Hyderabad. It's CIEFL, Hyderabad. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I loved the session, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, ma'am, don't know whether this can be taken, but I'm still reading. This question is from Mr. Shinde. He says, I want to learn from the basic, where I will get online videos to learn phonics.
There are quite a lot of phonic videos that are available on Google, but the best phonic that I would suggest would be through probably a guided text that gives you the details. So a guided text along with the audio or video will give you the understanding of how phonics has to be learned. By just listening and not just understanding the actual rules behind it would be a little difficult. So if Shinde sir, if you could actually go through a lot of videos, multiple videos are available. And I would suggest, like I said earlier, CIEFL has a lot of videos that they provide, Hyderabad CIEFL. And of course, the Collins Home Learning and Collins has got a few, links that we have come up with where we have, they have the English phonics and spellings being taught. So even that could be done.
All right. So, ma'am, let's take another question, maybe the last question of the day. So, how is Tuesday and Thursday pronounced? Yeah.
It's Tuesday, okay, and it's Tuesday, and it's Thursday.
All right. So, I think this answers the question from someone who has asked this on YouTube. And with the absence of any more questions, so we can call off the day today. So thank you so much, Vidya ma'am, for a wonderful, engaging, inspiring session, right? Thank you all of you for your time. You came in on the weekend. You spent the time with us. Thank you so much for your wonderful participation. Please stay safe, all of you, and have a happy weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please stay safe. Thank you so much. Thank you.